Good morning, children. I wish you a very happy New Year 2021 to begin academic proceedings with. I'm sure you must have had a very enjoyable vacation. However, now we have to come back and complete our academic part as well. Before getting into the lesson and before starting this video, I wish each and every member of your family, including you, a very happy and prosperous New Year. We are in the last lap of our academic curriculum. This year, the last year, 2020, was a very challenging year for all of us. However, with your cooperation and support, we managed to sail across very successfully. And as far as literature is concerned, we are almost about to complete our syllabus. So you can give a pat on your back. Now, this wouldn't have been possible if your support was lacking. So, I wish to congratulate all the children of classes 4A and 4B for helping me complete the syllabus on time, because we are left with the last lesson technically, and we'll be finishing that lesson in this particular video. So I've always appreciated young minds because whenever you decide that we are going to accomplish something, nobody can stop you. That's the recipe for success. Having said that, without further ado, let's start this lesson. You can turn your pages to the last lesson, and yes, let me tell you, this lesson is a poem, and this poem has been written by Robert Louis Stevenson. R.L. Stevenson is one of the most reputed poets around. He was from Scotland, and he was a writer, author, and poet. So a man who used to don a lot of hats, very talented, and he used to write on topics which are very closely knit with our lives. Even this lesson, even this poem, you'll see, is very delicately connected to our lives. 1804, there was a gentleman called Mr. Trevithick. 1804. He was a British engineer, and he was the first person to develop a locomotive train. Now, that was way back in 1804. That was the first train which came into existence. Train, yes. And then talking about India, 1853, 4 years ahead of the Sepoy Mutiny. If you remember history, 1857, when the soldiers revolted against the British rule. So 1853, there was this very famous gentleman called Lord Dalhousie. Now in Kolkata, since this was the capital of the East India Company, Kolkata, yes, not Delhi. So we still have most of the roads and streets which are named after these British generals and lieutenants, the rulers, the governors and everyone. So we have Hastings House, that's named. We have Hastings Road, that's named after Warren Hastings, again, Governor General. And then we have Dalhousie Square. It is a very busy industrial area now. So that's named after Lord Dalhousie. The reason I'm telling you about Lord Dalhousie is in 1853, he was the first man to have started a train service between Mumbai's Boribandar, we call it Mumbai now. Previously it was Bombay. So Bombay's Boribandar to Thane. Now these are two places in Maharashtra. Boribandar to Thane. The first Indian train ran between Boribandar and Thane 1853, and the credit goes to Lord Dalhousie. Now, children, who doesn't enjoy a train journey? Well, yes, it's a tad lethargic and could be mundane, unlike your flights, okay, which are very time bound, and you reach your destination without much hassles, even before time at times. But when it comes to train, well, there could be delays, and there could be so many other things. But train journeys were there even when flights weren't there. So it's very closely associated with our tradition, train journeys. And that's the reason it's all the more special. So talking about train journeys, what can you remember? Well, most of the trains, the passenger trains, they're all sleeping in the car sheds, in those big railway platforms. Car sheds are the places where the trains normally go for technical checkups, like how we go to clinics for our health checkup. So they go for technical checkups, car sheds. And when they are not running, when the trains are not commuting, they stay there along with their engines. So due to this pandemic, such a vast network of Indian railways had to shut down. However, now, yes, slowly and steadily, normalcy is being regained, and I'm sure we'll see these trains on the tracks very soon again. So, talking about train journeys, what do you think? Why is it all the more delightful compared to the flights? Definitely, you get to pop out of the window, you get to see so many things passing by, yes. So in case if you have a seat which is next to the window, well, there are so many things which you will get to see. You will see geographical landforms, you will see painted platforms pass by, you'll see hawkers, you will see stations, you will see people watching at you from outside the trains, and they keep on looking like this, right, when the train passes by. Mesmerizing sight. And definitely you will see a lot of other natural beauties, like the hills, the valleys, the plains, well, rivers, and so many other geographical geographical landforms and everything. Not only that, but also you get to meet a lot of people in the train. And that's the reason some of our parents still say that be very careful when you are traveling alone in a train and never accept food from strangers. Well, yeah, well, there's a valid point behind this logic. But at times, you can actually start a friendship with your co-passenger. It has happened. It has always happened in train journeys. It's like an individual getting into the train with a ticket, and while he embarks while he comes down, it's like when you get off the train, okay, it's not get down from the train. Whenever you are alighting or embarking from any vehicle, for that matter, the preposition that is to be used is off. People say get down. I just got down from the train. No, wrong. Get off. Remember that. We got off from the train. Once you do that, it's always more than one person. Why? Because you develop a bond with your co-passenger. And if it is like quite a long distance train journey, say for like a day or so, you actually become like a family with them, because you have been spending such a long time and you have a lot of conversations, general conversations. So that is how train journeys are always full of mirth and happiness. Now, I'm going to show you a video. I'm sure everybody must have traveled in a train at least. So this is how you have a view of the outer world, and everything passes in a jiffy, right? When the train is at full speed, traveling at full speed, full momentum, you will see so many things passing by, right? And it happens in the wink of an eye. So now you can watch the video. It's a small video, and after that we are just going to cover some important points which are there in the poem. So children, yes, we have had a very nice discussion. Well, we were talking about the train journeys from a railway carriage is the name of the lesson, and you have also seen the view from across the window when you are traveling in a train and you have a window seat. Okay, so in the poem, so the poet gives you a lot of information about what he sees when he's traveling in the railway carriage. So he sees bridges, houses, hedges. Now hedges, well, shrubs, plants, small plants. Ditches, yes, ditch, it means like, it's like a cavern from where dirty water passes. Ditches, then you have meadows, and you have all the cattle and horses trotting by, sides of the hills and the plains, and you also have the painted stations. There's a cart with a man and his goods. There's a little baby who's scrambling like this. What's scrambling? It's like moving on your arms and legs, like how babies do. Then there's a destitute. Who's a destitute? Destitute. It's a tramp. It's a homeless person. It's called a destitute. Now he's staring at you. I mean, he was staring at the poet when he was traveling the train. He was obviously standing on maybe one of the platforms. So the poet sees him as well. And then there's a meal. What is a meal? Meal is a factory. MILL is a factory, industry where people work, laborers work. And then you have also, the poet gets to see a river. So I've told you all that the poet sees. Now you need to remember these points. Well, I wish to cover a very important part of speech before I close this video. Children, have you heard about simile and metaphor? What is simile and metaphor? Well, whenever you are contrasting and comparing two different objects and you are trying to create a bond between them, okay, that's when you use simile and metaphor. For example, if you say that Pratik sir is like Hercules. Why? Because I'm very strong. Pratik sir is like Hercules. So you are comparing me with Hercules and you are using that word like, okay? Or you can also say that Narendra Modi is as strong as a lion. Definitely, he's a very strong-hearted leader for that matter, for our country. So you can say Narendra Modi is as strong as a lion. Now, this as strong as and as, these are correlative conjunctions, right? But when I'm using them to compare two identities, so it's like Narendra Modi and the lion, and I'm using as in between. Whenever you use as and like to compare two separate objects, children, that's called simile. SIMILE. Okay, and I'll discuss about metaphor later. So simile, remember that. In this poem, you will have instances of the usage of similes. For example, while the train was traveling in full speed, full swing, the poet has compared this train with the troops in a battle. So he says, like the troops in a battle. When you go through the poem, you will come across this particular phrase, expression, like the troops in a battle. And the poet has again compared this train with the heavy rain. So he says, as driving rain. Now what does these two mean? It means that the poet is very, very mesmerized to see the speed at which this train was traveling. So on that note, children, I have covered all the important points. Now you can actually make a mind map in your worksheet based on this particular poem, and that will be done. That will be the end of our lesson. Well, thank you so much, children. We have covered our English literature syllabus. There are no more lessons left in your text, so it will be only revisions to follow now. I hope you have enjoyed this journey all through. So God bless you. Thank you.